Welcome back to Guard Your Grill Boxing. My bad, y'all, man. We've been trying to cover a lot of local events, so you know the schedule got a little confused. But once again, we back again. It's your man Sleep. Shout out to Docs. Shout out to Cold Train. Shout out to Big Mike. Shout out to Ride or Die, man. All I want to start this off is, you know, 08, man. How everybody feeling? We've been blessed with some great action-packed fights outside of the Klitschko fight, where, you know, it was a little sleeper. Outside of that, all the big fights have been big fights. You know, we just had the Casamayor fight versus Cassidis. We started off with Jermaine Taylor, Pavlik. Had Vasquez versus Marquez. Marquez versus Pacquiao. Great action-packed fights. Friday Night Fights has been showing up, giving us great action-packed fights as well. So we're going to start that off on that note. Friday Night Fights, we got my man Andy Lee versus Brian Vera. And we're going to start it off with Manny. Manny. I don't like to keep dogging you, man, because one day I'm hoping I can hang out with you. I heard you a cool dude. You hang out with some beautiful women. Manny, you've been hyping up Andy Lee. He actually threw his name out there to fight my man Pavlik, the winner of Pavlik Taylor. You know, you had us gassed up, you know what I'm saying? First of all, Andy comes in. He doesn't look like a fighter, but that doesn't usually mean anything. But I noticed from the door, he comes out, he fights tall, very long stance, but he's flat-footed. You know, he throws his jab, he's very flat-footed. So he comes out, and Brian Vera immediately noticed, oh, my fault, wrong stance, southpaw. Flat-footed, hooking off the right jab, knocks my man down, hurts him early. I said, this may be a short night, but I did notice some holes in his defense, because every time Vera would swing, he'd bring his head back, you know, little awkward movements, didn't really have sharp defense. So we get to the end of the second round, I noticed Vera was able to touch it and actually hurt him. And that was a telling blow in the fight, because later on, that would show how Vera, with those wild looping right hands, was able to connect on Andy Lee. Coming into the seventh round, you know, they start trading again. And I'm starting to notice that Andy Lee is getting a little tired. And Vera landed some shots towards the end of that round, but Andy Lee is starting to get tired, starting to look hunched over. And one thing with these tall fighters, if you don't have the proper discipline, your body language can sway the judges very dramatically. Because every time you get hit, there's a long swaying body. Every time you get tired, he's starting to hunch over, so the body tells a lot. But there's a lot of holes in his defense. This takes us to the eighth round. Now, mind you, the fifth, sixth, and seventh, Vera is constantly pressuring him. And the shots don't have the steam that they had on him before, keeping Vera off of him. So we get into the seventh round, you know, Andy Lee starts laying some good shots. You know, he keeps landing the right hook, the right uppercut, and the straight left hand. But when he does that, he sits there and trades with Vera. So he sits there and Vera lets him get off a little bit, then Vera starts working his back and starts putting some power shots on him. And then Andy Lee starts getting tired, and then we get into a mix where Vera's landing some big shots, and they look very telling because of Andy Lee's body language. His whole body is moving back and forth. Now, they start mixing shots up, and Andy Lee was definitely on the way out, but I think the stoppage was a little premature, because at the point of the stoppage, Vera lands a shot and Andy Lee counters with a right hand at the same time, right after it, and they stop the fight. To his credit, Emmanuel Stewart said he didn't have a problem with the stoppage, but I had a problem with the stoppage, but Andy Lee was going down that round. But the moral to the story is, Andy Lee is not ready for upper echelon opponents, man. He gets dogged by Jermaine Taylor. He gets walked down by Pavlik in the first round, trust me. Probably first or second round with Jermaine Taylor as well. So, no, Manny. But yo, let's get to the main event. HBO Championship fights. Joel Casamayor, the linear Ring Magazine lightweight champion of the world, versus Michael Katsidis, the interim WBO lightweight champion of the world. And this was for the belt, the WBO belt. And it's also to determine where Katsidis said he's stepping up and trying to deal with somebody that we may have thought lost a step, because his previous fight he lost, but we don't know if the motivation was there, and if Father Time is catching up to him, as we might say. But we noticed from the very beginning, before they started off, you know, Casamayor gets in his face, gives him a little intimidation, similar to Nate Campbell from a couple of weeks ago against Diaz, and they come right out from the shoot. And one thing I noticed early on, Cassidis likes to jump into punches, man. He wasn't setting stuff up with the proper jab. He was pressuring him, and he got caught with straight left down the pipe. Boom! Gets up, looks like it's a flash knockdown. He gets right back up, and he gets caught again. So as the fight goes on, I gave the second round to Casamayor. He wasn't able to really hurt him in that second round, but the pressure starts getting to Casamayor going into the third round. Now in the third round, Casamayor starts adding pressure with a little bit more movement, crowding him, you know, staying inside on him, you know, starts going to his body a little bit. So you get to the fourth round, Casamayor gets hit with some big right hands and some big shots, but he's able to cut, you know, Katsidis towards the end of the round, going into that round. So the tide is kind of changing. There's a little ebb and flow in the fight, but at this point it seems like Casamayor is starting to lose a little steam. He's falling from the pressure. You know, it's a lot of Ricky Hatton stuff. You know, coming right in, throwing jabs, and you know, pushing a lot of wrestling, draining the power of Casamayor. All right, we get to the sixth round. Still a whole lot of pressure. You know, Casamayor is backpedaling a lot. He's getting hit a lot. But then Katsidis lands. He lands a left to the body. Casamayor, he bends over. Then he lands a left up top. And the left up top has him spilling into the ropes. He follows it through with a right. And Casamayor falls in the ropes. Now, people, I want you to chime in and let me know what you think. I know they said the general rule is you get 10 seconds if you fall on the mat, 20 seconds if you fall out the ring. I could have swore I saw fights in the past where when fighters fell out of the ropes, they automatically waved the fight off. Now, to Casamayor's credit, he got up. He took a while, leg did. Like he could have easily waved this fight off, depending on the referee. He got up. Now that count was a little shady. You know what I'm saying? When he counted to 8, Casamayor wasn't actually in the ring as of yet. He stopped his count and said, "Come on, Joel, come on the ropes." And he allowed him to come into the ropes. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really protested that, but that's just something I noticed. I would like to know what you think about that. So, to come out there, he adds a lot of pressure in him, which leads us to the, you know, the 7th round. Now, going into the 7th round, I started noticing that Casamayor is actually getting his timing back. He starts getting on his toes. He's countering. He's starting to get his timing back, and he's landing some lead rights off the slip. Off of Katsidis' slip. And I think Katsidis was getting a little over anxious chasing him around the ring. More of this was occurring in the 8th round. And this was leading us up to the knockout later on in the fight. I think Katsidis was getting a little anxious. Sometimes he'll lead with a jab. Sometimes he'll just come in with wild haymaking hooks. The 9th round, he came in with a lot of haymakers. And then towards the end, you know, Casamayor was landing with flush shots down the pipe, countering off the haymakers. Same thing happened in the 10th, and reminiscent of my man Floyd Mayweather and Ricky Hatton, we got to see the check hook once again. And the check hook lands as he comes in. He threw 2 wild haymakers, threw another one, got caught in the middle of exchanging, and was out. That fight should have been stopped. His legs were not stable when he got up. The referee looked at him, asked him to come forward. He fumbled forward. Should have been waved off there. So I didn't have a problem with the knockout with him coming inside. The fight should have been stopped there. So my man Joel Casamayor has his swagger back. He's back on top of the division. Hopefully we can see a big fight coming down the road. He claims he wants Pacquiao. He's already fought Campbell. He's already fought Diaz. He wants the big money fight, Pacquiao. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Enjoy the show. We got a show coming up from Joe Hand's Gym coming up later on this week. So holla at us.